the NWA. Turner Home Entertainment patriotically presents live Great American Bash 89, The Glory Days. On Sunday, July 23rd, see all the stars of the NWA. Witness the incredible war games as 10 powerful men locked inside a steel cage battle overwhelming odds until submission or surrender determines the victor. Plus, the finals of the Triple Crown King of the Hill Double Ring Battle Royale. And the ultimate, featuring the return to professional wrestling of six-time World Heavyweight Champion Nature Boy Ric Flair, who faces for the first time his attacker Terry Funk. Plus, Sting, the Great Muta, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Lex Luger, and much, much more. The Great American Bash 89, The Glory Days, Sunday, July 23rd, live on pay-per-view.
Watered down gets a little weird when it's like, oh, I have to give. We haven't given Jim his story in a bit, his story idea in a bit. I guess we'll give him this one, and everybody kind of gets like one shitty idea in or something like that. It's a very weird cycle.
Yes.
This time.
Yeah. So we're just gonna jump right in. I mean, what is there to say about the Great American Bash? I mean, it was a great show. I will argue one of the strangest builds to a pay-per-view I think I've ever seen. You got the world title match carried by the challenger the entire time because the champion's over there trying to mend his fucked up neck. You got way too much Jim Herd on our TV. Way too much fucking Jim Herd. The press conference, I have a whole fucking thing about the press conference. Oh.
Jim Herd saw what happened with Jack Tunney in the old WWF and was like, I want that screen time. Give me that screen time. Can we talk to some doctors? Can we talk to Lex Luger's mechanic? Who else can we get on the line here so Jim Herd can make an appearance for us?
And again, how many times do we hear in 1 month? And all right, we're either joined by or we're gonna kick it over to the executive vice president of WCW, Jim Herd. And every time JR says it, you just hear the vitriol just spew. He's Jim Herd. It's like fuck.
The man, the myth, the legend.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah, it's the TV of this cycle is just so rinse repeat.
Yeah,
and it's it feels very like it did, 3 episodes ago or 4 episodes ago, where it was just like 2 jobbers, two a tag team, and it's just same jobber tag team with a different good tag team the following week, over and over and over. And one thing that was weird to me too was the amount of tag team matches we got after dropping the U.S. tag title.
Yeah,
it was just odd how much the tag teams were focused on in this cycle, just to have a title dropped, basically.
Yeah, I wrote straight up. We went from sporadic tag matches on TV to almost all tag matches on a show in a matter of like 2 episodes.
I mean, we could do the math later, but some of these feel like, this 617, I feel like 80% is tag team matches. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking.
And it stands out. And it really does stand out because you're just not getting those, like you said, the world champ is off TV. Yeah. Lex is just letting us know he has Rolexes and fancy cars and stuff, and not really doing much wrestling either.
No.
Sting's in his thing with Muta, so we have like that as a single story kind of, but everything else, it's just it's very orgy focused. It's the tag team we're building to the war games. It's just kind of all of this coming together for us.
It has "Brother, My Brother" Kevin Sullivan written all over. We gotta have a lot of fucking chaos, bro. We got a whole lot of fucking just. What you're saying, I think, is exactly probably how he would put it on. We're gonna have a fucking orgy of just everyone killing each other, and then we'll have war games, and everyone's excited about that.
Eddie, you remember New Year's Eve, right? Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. Don't bring it up to Missy though. Still a little hot.
Okay. Yeah, however we want to hit this.
That whole thing.
The episode by episode isn't as important. Yeah, I made notes for each episode of like what happened, but it wasn't much. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting We keep getting the first family. The first family is the Steiners, Missy, parentheses, and Eddie. Because him and Missy do not appear on screen at the same time. Missy is just with the Steiners, nonstop. Eddie just kind of fucks off. Shows back up for Sting at the Bash, where I'm like, oh, Eddie has to be turning on. I'm like, something bad has to be happening here. It was just really noticeable that the first family seems to be living in two different houses now. Why did Daddy get an apartment? I can picture Rick asking that. Missy, why did Eddie get up in a different apartment? Do I get to see him on the weekends?
The important part is we both still love you. Yeah,
very much.
When I looked it up, indeed, they're having problems here. They did not officially divorce until 90. But it's very clear, obviously, that either Eddie went to the committee. Oh, Eddie's in the committee, I believe. I don't remember. It definitely has a lot of turnaround, even already. But I think at some point, Eddie Gilbert is part of the booking something. So,
and maybe it's just that Eddie's off doing that thing and focusing on something else in life. But yeah, he is just because he also doesn't show up much. No. But he's here to introduce us to Tommy Rich and to let Sting know he has his back. Basically, those are two things we see Eddie for.
That fucking ruled, though. Real quick about fucking old Wildfire was man, he fucking came in, and it's like one of those things where you go, oh, right. He is like a really fucking great worker. Like he actually is pretty fucking entertaining.
Dude, I'm excited to get to the Tommy Rich era, and you can let me know where the magic happens. We do get Mike Awesome dropping an appearance on the 17th. Mike Awesome shows up.
That was awesome.
Versus SST and Paul E. So, obviously in our head, we put together, they make this great connection. And later, starting ECW, Paul E just brings in Mike Awesome, who remembers. He does not, though, bring in Rock Hard Rick, who went to work for Vivid Video in the 90s.
Buddy, yeah, I thought the same thing. And what a great name. Almost as good as, what was that fucking guy's name? Hard Body Harris or something? Later in WCW, job guy. Awesome, dude. Awesome.
Yeah. It's all about the Thunder from Down Under audience, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I definitely want to mention is, remember Randy Rose came back like 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
And he's like, first of all, he was kicked out. Then we're like, no, we're bringing Randy Rose back. And then Randy Rose goes to Paul and it's like, hey, I'm back, man, I'm back. And Paul's like, no, I'm good, bro. Nobody else wants to manage Randy Rose either. Even Teddy Long, who had 0 stable before this, was like, no good. No, bro, I'm good. You stay away from me, Randy Rose. So Randy Rose is now just like a jobber, a glorified jobber, basically. Yeah.
But hey.
And that's funny and sad, but welcome back, Randy Rose.
He has the Southern Wrestler special, which is the belly shirt with the sleeves cut off.
One thing I definitely have to mention from the 617 episode, the Muta interview. Muta wears like this scary ass deep. It looks like, if you ever seen Onibaba, it's a Japanese horror film from the 60s. It reminds me of that. So yeah, he is wearing this mask that probably haunted me for the next 6 months of my life back in '89 because it's just fucking scary shit.
Dude, yeah, and he just the little head like movements, and Gary's just talking. I mean, so far, home run with everything Muta adjacent. They did everything perfectly.
Yes, he is like Teflon.
Yeah,
he's like, no, I will allow no stink at this point to attach to me in any way. It's great. It's great. Rick, during this line of stories, we get the story of Rick has a girlfriend.
Oh, yes. The stalker is now getting it in, if you will, with old Rick.
She's not my girlfriend. She becomes my girlfriend. You bought her flowers. No, I stole them from the neighbors. It's like this whole storyline of adolescent love, which, for me as a person probably going through puberty at that point, it's Rick Steiner is reflecting me back on my own screen of being awkward and talking to girls. So That's a whole big storyline through this process. The first family, Missy's trying to get her boy some of that yum yum.
Yeah.
The thing that makes this run of episodes so unremarkable as well is just the inconsistency of the commentary. This first episode it's just JR, and so whenever I see it's just JR, I go, ugh.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, Michael will be back next week, and it's just this back and forth of just nothing sticking. And again, you only get that one side of the conversation for all these jobber matches that are just kind of pointless and no question of what's going to happen.
It was just a big miss. Like it'd be different. Like it's funny because like obviously in ECW Joey Styles did that forever, but it was different then. And the way that Paulie booked it, he booked it with that in mind. You know what I mean? Like he definitely made it easier for Joey to do that. And Joey kind of fell into being his own color guy. Here, JR's not even trying the color guy. He's just JR by himself. And that sounds like, man, JR's the greatest of all time, right? That'd be great. No. JR without anyone to work with is very boring, to be really honest with you.
Yeah, it's so interesting. 'Cause I would be fascinated to see Joey Styles doing commentary over Bob Emery and Keith Steinborn versus the Midnights, and see what kind of excitement he could get from me there. Because otherwise, it's just, kind of just this dude is just okay. Again, he doesn't even know like the names of the moves. Like, they're out here throwing out power bombs, and JR for every time just slams them down to the mat, which is how you can describe 87 different things you do in a wrestling match.
I can't believe I'm going to put over Vince McMahon on a podcast in 2025, but let's be honest, he got a lot of shit, throughout the years about being like the worst commentator guy of all time. Dude, fucking JR's doing the what a maneuver here more than ever. Like, it's really funny that people call him out so hard for Vince, right? And like, listen, good. But also, let's be fair. And fucking JR in 89 just phoning it in, man. Like, if he didn't have Hayes with him, he clearly was pissed. He was like, fuck this taping.
Okay, I understand that when we get to like 97 or 98, Chris Jericho will let us know about 1,001 holds.
Yeah.
But at this point in WCW, there's like 22 holds. There's no reason you can't name. There's no reason you can't name them all. Be able to name them all on a flashcard quiz. And so all of a sudden, when they show up and they're picking up dudes over their head and slamming on the mat, you need to tell me more. He's slamming them on the mat.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry, what do you call that move? Oh, you don't have a name. Let's come up with one. I gave a great one to Jack Victory.
I just thought of the other one that JR says that's maddening. That was an impressive maneuver. Was it? Fuck, JR. Wow.
It's no. Here's the thing. He's young in his career here, right? So he's going to have that room to grow and all that. And to become a go-to, you've got to start somewhere beginning. So we'll give him a chance. Yeah. But throwing him out there without any backup for himself to comment on matches where not a lot's happening is not a help to him.
Not at all.
So we're just getting a whole bunch of, kind of pointless tag matches. And then at the end of the 624 episode, Hot Stuff shows up and says, Tommy Wildfire Rich is back.
Fuck yeah.
And then in my head, I'm like, okay, so he's no relation to the Rich brothers / cousins, right? Even though they soon team up together, so it still throws questions in my mind. Did somebody actually ask him, how did you do that fire thing? Yeah, I think Rob asked him, how did you do that fire thing, right? That's great. That's exactly what I would have asked. Dude, how'd you make a fireball?
We're not going to talk about that right now. Is I think what Eddie says to that too. We're not really here to talk about that right now.
That's the job of a reporter. Get us that information. How did you create a fireball out of midair? And then Gary Hart shows up, gets a beat down. Muta missed Eddie. Have a little fun run there. Oh, wait a minute. Now we get to the 7-1 episode with the most important announcement in the history of wrestling announcements.
Yeah.
And boy, Jim Herd's back. Because there's a chance for some screen time.
Fuck me. This was bad. Before that, though, I do want to put over Muta and Italian Stallion. It was good. I know that's shocking. Italian Stallion was there for everything. A lot of guys back then with Muta, they were not, they couldn't do all that offense. Nobody was like doing shit back then. So, the fact that Italian Stallion put his work boots on for whatever reason at center stage that day, thank you. I needed it.
We toss a meatball in your honor.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Also, the week before, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how awesome that Terry Gordy Dr. Death rematch was on TV. They just, again, the match that they had at the Clash was like an All Japan match. This was a 1986 Mid-South brawl, and I really appreciate that. And Gordy gets the win with the most ridiculous, like, save a babyface ever. Not only did Hayes distract the referee, Garvin pulled the leg as well. So, fucking Dr. Death's the most protected guy in the business right now.
My favorite thing on those type of pins, and there's one at the Bash too, is I just love watching the guy's legs wave. I think it was the end of the Flair Funk. I just love watching their legs just wave, like trying to do anything. Another thing with that Dr. Death Gordy is the end of that match really feels like it's trying to prepare us for the two-ring King of the Hill Battle Royals by kind of getting the New Zealand militia comes out, then the dudes come out. It's kind of like that brawl you used to get before a pay-per-view on that last episode,
yeah.
Especially when you're getting like a Survivor Series or something. So it felt like it was kind of getting us ready for like that kind of a vibe.
Without a doubt. And then that is also the genesis to the bizarre little moment in time where Jim Cornette is managing Dr. Death.
We talked about it last time with the managers. It's just so weird. Last time, it was Gary Hart said, "Oh, and I got Dan Spivey." And we literally get to this cycle, and Dan Spivey's with Teddy Long and Skyscrapers. Is Gary Hart with Terry Funk for this cycle, or does he just show up at the Bash?
Yeah, so that's the whole thing there. That is when you see that little beatdown at the end of the Bash. Spoiler to a 36-year-old show. That's the beginning of the JTEX Corp.
But Gary's out there with him during the match, but it's the first time he's been out there with him during the match, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't recall any sort of... Yeah, no.
Because I messaged you, because one of my likes for this cycle was Muta and Gary Hart.
Yeah.
I really liked Gary Hart. I love his Anton LaVey energy. I love him saying Gaijin. I love and the fact that he was so focused with just Muta, it made it better. And that's why when I saw him with Terry, I'm like, wait a minute, was he with Terry the whole time? Like, no, Terry comes out and does maniac interviews on his own. He doesn't have a manager. So it was weird to see him at the Bash all of a sudden. But I liked the reduced role for Gary Hart and that focus of no more Bob Orton, no more whatever else. It's just me and Muta because this dude's my meal ticket. Yeah. Right? If you were a manager and you saw Moody, be like, no. All my cards, like Paul Ellering, all my cards are on you. I'm riding your back to success and fame.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it worked. That's like a prime example of less is more. We needed less of Gary Hart somehow. Don't.
Yeah, I mean, it kept him focused, and again, maybe it's just he's getting us hyped up for something we care about, as opposed to getting us hyped up for Dick Murdoch and Bob Orton again. But just this cycle, I'm like, no, Gary Hart. Like I said, I give everybody a new chance each cycle, and I liked him this time.
Well, you have to, since the ideas literally change like every time we talk. In a great example,
it's crazy.
Fucking Lex Luger's heel turn. You feel like it came out of nowhere. But the June 24th little situation he had with Sting, I think this is really the first time Sting fully was serious in a promo. Everything before this had like a hey, tubular bro, like thing to it. That is not in this Sting at all. We are getting, Sting is a world champion caliber guy now. And I think people really forget that there was that shift, because I kept thinking to myself, like, this isn't Sting that I remember. He's like a goof. That's weird, So I kept waiting, and it happens here. And it's smart because of how JR presents it too, where it's like, well, hey, your buddy Lex, and he's like, hey, listen, I'm just as disappointed as anybody. And the line that I love when he walks away is, you just make me sick, pal. Walks away. Luger fires up at that. Oh, yeah? Okay. Why don't you just get with me? And my other one that I loved is he straight up is like, when I took you under my wing when you got here. Hold it, Lex. You guys were the same skill level. If not, you were worse all the time.
It was great where Lex is like, you're my young boy. Like, carry my bags. Shine my shoes. That's how he's approaching it. And you know what? And it's great. I kind of accept him. Like, Lex is delusional. He's a narcissist. Like, I'm living in this character. I get what you're going for. Yeah, you think you carried Sting along. I think for Sting, it's funny because him and Lex were the guys who called Magnum TA Maggie and Jim Ross Rossi. So they were backstage making cute nicknames for the others. And now Sting feels stabbed in the front by his buddy he was making nicknames with.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I did want to mention that. Bobby Eaton taking nasty bumps. He takes that railing bump when he's wrestling with when the Midnights are doing the Birds match. Dude, that's disgusting. That I said it was like a fucking TLC ladder spot, but just a guy.
The 617 show, the Midnights had a sloppy ass match, and I think Bobby was so upset with that opponent because he's just like, take this fucking guy before I murder him. Like, it was pretty noticeable. The dude just, as bad as the jobbers are, like the jobbers, this guy was bottom of the barrel. I'm not sure if we see him again.
I hope not. That was really bad.
Yeah, we get on the 7-1, we get the Flair press conference.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's jump into this fucking absolute aberration.
You'll never guess what happens.
Yeah, Jim Herd shows zero, actually negative charisma here. He's the only guy that's like introducing Flair to where I'm like, I don't even want Flair now. Flair comes to the podium, thank Christ. And I mean, right off the bat, he's like, I'm asking the NWA and Jim Herd to, or WCW. Maybe this is when finally everyone's just saying WCW, even though the belts are NWA. This is a weird time. He's like, well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to defend that title. And it's going to be against Terry Funk. And it's like, first off, okay, so last time we saw you, the whole thing was that, Terry, you've been out in Hollywood, brother. There's top 10 here. And Funk has killed nothing but jobbers, by the way.
Winning its number one contender, Ricky Steamboat. Don't remember what happened with that match.
Won by DQ.
No, I'm saying, yeah. It's just like, and so he won his. Terry Funk lost his one match against a contender, and he gets the title match.
Yeah,
well, because what else disappeared this cycle? The rankings.
Yes, they came in
zero. They were literally like, we need the rankings for this Funk Steamboat story. Yeah. All right, we're just gonna rock with these for next 6 weeks. Hey, did you notice Danny Spivey is still on this? Also, Arn Anderson's 4. Should we take him off? Do you think? It's just funny. It's just they just drop. They're gone now. Rankings. New cycle. We don't need those anymore. That's so last season.
Flair does at least try, and he doesn't mention them, but it's like we don't ever hear about him again. They
never show them again.
Oh my god, it's like a fever dream.
Yeah, and it's just it's yeah, okay. I'm taking out Terry Funk 723. That's cool. I love where the press is there.
Yeah,
everybody. So we get subdued Flair a bit in the cycle. I know on the bash itself, it's like subdued Flair where he doesn't talk over a 4, and I'm giving 120%. And I've answered that question 1,000 times too. Who the fuck are you talking to that you answer the question 1,000 times? Like, he's such an exaggerator of shit. It's like, and that's what makes everything the same, is because he does the same exaggerations every time. Everything's the fucking same, man.
That's the only thing.
It's the same but turned down in volume.
Yeah.
Which, for anybody who watches Love Island, was what Huda did last night. Just saying. I know this isn't a Love Island podcast. We'll skip that for another time.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, we haven't jumped onto that show yet. We're still in like the Valley fucking Vanderpump waters.
We don't like like shows that are like full of drama like that. And Love Island's nice because by the end of Love Island, like they all become friends. They become a family by the end, so it's always we like that.
Yeah. Now we like drama in this household. Speaking of
okay. 7-1. Hit me.
No, this is the thing. I don't know what show this was on. I just did like stream of consciousness notes here, so there's not a lot of dates. Teddy, did you like the line where he's on commentary? They're like, Teddy Long's here, Peanut Head, come here. And Teddy comes out. I finally figured out it's not a racist thing. It's just his nickname, and I guess Dusty named him that, so he's cool. Like, it's one of those things where like people can call Taker Mark if they know him.
Yeah.
Sort of situation. So Teddy on commentary mentioning, and he literally, I quote, says, "I'm very close personal friends with Arsenio Hall."
Yes.
Amazing. And I said, I bet Ted.
I don't know if that's the only time it's mentioned or not, but I feel like I heard JR say it, that Teddy was close personal friends with Arsenio Hall. So I don't know if it came up multiple times. I love the idea like they've run into somebody at the airport and then like they're close personal friends. That's how I have it in my head marked. We do get in the 7-1 episode the debut of Tommy Wildfire Rich versus Wild Bill Irwin.
Brother.
Dude.
That's not good.
A Luthez press for a pin.
Yeah.
In the year 1989 is fucking insane.
It's bad.
It is. How did he win the NWA World Title with a Luthez press?
He sure did.
Holy fuck!
Harley Race did the job to that fucker.
God damn, he must have. I don't know. Like, wow. I refuse.
Maybe.
I refuse. Maybe. Yeah. A good supply. During the Missy Hyatt research, I did find out. I believe it was Tommy Wildfire Rich was the first person she did coke with, or the first person she blew when she was 17. One or the other. Very important news. Because we'll get to it later, but I have like Jason Hervey questions when we get to the bash, and so we're not there yet. But I had to look up that dating history to see where Jason Hervey and Missy Hyatt hooked up at. So,
God,
yeah, I know it's so weird. Skyscrapers are hailed as from Metropolis, which I love. And then we start saying that on 7-1. So yeah, Skyscrapers from Metropolis.
Of West Memphis, Arkansas, for Sid. And let me tell you, I've been there. There is nothing metropolis like in West Memphis. A lot of bars.
A little more Smallville.
Yes, sir.
So we get our Danny back. His style feels different. Like, even like his wrestling style feels different. The big sin is we don't get him on the mic now because we have Teddy. So we miss Danny in that regard. And I wrote down JR will need to learn what a power bomb is. At some point.
Please do that.
He will need to learn what that is, because now we also have Sid.
I'm going to look this up because I think a lot of why we see Spivey much better is because Dan Spivey, I believe, had just come back from a tour of All Japan. I think this is when you first see Dan Spivey like really becoming an international guy, because he was. I believe so.
I did this excursion, picked up a few new tricks, and came back. That's good.
Yeah, so. Because I agree. I was like, whoa, Dan Spivey's... Damn, you know what? Dan Spivey's last match was 2015. That motherfucker wrestled for a while. Started in 85. Man, we're getting deep into the Dan Spivey lore. You gotta love that.
As we should.
90. All right, let's see here. Where the fuck were you? Yep, I was dead right. He was All Japan. And, oh, buddy, think of this tag team. He was tagging at the time with Terry Bam Bam fucking Gordy. He's doing trios matches with him and Stan fucking Hansen against Akira Taue, Jumbo, and Yoshiaki Yatsu. Oh, my God. I got to find those matches. Yeah, like this is great.
when those guys were over there for that little excursion, Dr. Death was there. Spivey seemed to be gone. I don't know who else was missing from our screens. Bam Bam, it seemed like maybe came back from there when he showed up. Yeah, that'd be a really interesting tour to check out because it just seems like a lot of Gaijin talents over there. And like you said, Hansen over there. You probably got Vader over there. I'm guessing. Yes. I don't know if he's in All Japan at that point. That seems like a really dope area to check out.
Bulldogs are there. The Shoot Bulldogs are there.
Ooh, nice.
Beaten Takagi and Nakano. Oh, dude. Yeah, this is great. So I assumed, because I was right there with you, I was like, God damn, Dan Spivey leveled up like 2.5 fucking times what he was. Oh, weird. It's like every time a decent wrestler goes to Japan, they come back real great. You're like, fuck, put the belt on him now. I mean, think about it.
What's going to help you improve in life? Lee Scott, Bob Emery, Keith Steinborn are going against these wrestlers with different skills, different attacks, and actually decent at their, like respectable presentations of themselves.
Maybe wrestling the ace of All Japan at the time, Jumbo Tsuruta, might do you some favors. I don't know. Maybe
it may be a slight bit better than Bob Emery. Maybe we'll find out.
Much better high knee.
The 7-8 episode, we do get the Danger Zone back.
Yes. I taped like all of them, by the way, so they will be releasing on socials to promote this fucking episode.
So that's a good thing there. They let us know Midnights will be going against New Zealand Militia in a main event, and we're also going to get Flying Brian. So excited for that.
Hell yeah.
They keep... Okay, did you watch all the shows from this cycle? Because they keep mentioning this Boston Street Fight.
Yes.
They mentioned this Boston Street Fight multiple times. Do we ever see it on TV?
No, but let me look this up. I'm on a look-up spree here because, man, I'm probably smarter to look up Kevin Sullivan. He didn't wrestle as much as Scott Steiner. I just want to know who the fuck won it. That's where I'm at.
Oh, I have it here. Let's see. Because, it's like the weirdest thing because they just keep mentioning it, and I'm like, what does this do for me? It says Steiner defeats Kevin Sullivan.
Okay, well, this is heartwarming. Kevin Sullivan's final match recorded 2019 against Brian Pillman Jr. I thought that was kind of a sweet little...
That is nice.
That's kind of cool. It went no contest because he ain't doing no jobs, not even for the kid. But I love that little wrinkle.
Sorry, BPJ. Nope. Can't do that, bro.
It was a no-holds barred. No contest. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, but they keep hyping up this Boston Street Fight, and I'm like, are they low on tickets there? But like, why advertise it to all of us like so hard?
All right, here we are, 7/8/1989, the Great American Bash Tour, 17th stop, which that will go into my segment here in a little bit, where I'll give you the weirdest house show results and how the fuck we got the guys we got in that stupid battle royal. But on this night, we had the street fight. Now, this is where I feel like I have amnesia. Did they not make a point to say it was Scott versus Kevin, right? Isn't that what they said?
No,
it was Rick.
I'm pretty sure it was
Rick. Rick Steiner defeated Kevin Sullivan in Kevin's hometown. Huge deal. I'm sure there was no fuckery afoot at all that night. So yes, we definitively have the answer. It did occur.
It occurred. Yeah, they keep telling me about it on TV. Oh my God, you need to see this. Fuck. Okay, I guess I need to see this then. But show it to me. Because this is also this cycle. They don't show us as many from the road videos.
No.
We get the Marietta Massacre, I think, this cycle. But outside of that, there's nothing much else. So it's weird that they kind of cut those off as well, especially after you're hyping this specific match so much.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Like I said, if they showed it on like the 10 a.m. show or something like that, okay, cool. But it just feels very, it was just a house show is what the results from that show feel very, this is just a house show. Not that we recorded anything that's important for posterity's sake. Which also the cock decides the show no longer exists after, I think, 7/8.
Yeah.
So you do have to go to YouTube for all the episodes after that. The custodians of wrestling history are crushing their job.
Yeah, Vince's final little guffaw to all of us.
The Flying Brian debut we get, he looks
unbelievable,
really good out there, athletic. He's a huge fan of Boomer Esiason. quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, we're told.
You'll never guess who dropped that one at me.
Yeah, I was gonna say JR's is deep in the Bengals fucking career for us.
He was also Pillman was also a Playboy All-American. I remember that one too, and that was a legit thing. That was a thing.
Hey man, you know what? Let's go back in time to when the Playboy All-American mattered. You know, how about that for a political stance?
This is probably right around the time where I saw my first like Playboy. So yeah, I mean, this is
damn.
It's all hitting base for me, man. The only pop culture thing we really get this cycle much is Tiananmen Square.
Yes.
Which is always great to bring up during a wrestling show.
And Heyman was very clear to again say in a promo during the bash, you know, I live on the edge, brother. I hired Rob Lowe as a babysitter. Again, we get that line again. He recycled because I guess
Rob Lowe going back.
That was
wait a minute.
Dusted up again.
That plays out over a cycle, you know? You gotta get all those National Enquirers like the story.
Oh man.
There is so much Lex Mike time this cycle.
Too much.
And it's just you're jealous because I've got cars and I've got luxury condos and I've got watches and you're all jealous. And it's so like Kirkland signature Ric Flair.
Yes, it is.
But not where sometimes it's better than the original. Like it's never better than the original here.
You can just see in his eyes that he's going through the fucking motions. Is my only thing with him right now. So I'm like, Lex, you're getting the fucking push of your life, honestly. Like, this might really have, like, ended up with you with the strap. And apparently that is what Jim Herd wanted. So, fuck, man. So weird.
We get the Danger Zone with Terry Funk.
So great.
Those are two great tastes that go great together.
Yeah.
The set has gone... It felt a little more corporate, the set, but it also felt very ECW.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like that step up from like the kids in the high school drama department made a back set with Jack Victory to this one's a little bit upgraded a little bit, but still like edgy and hardcore. But felt very ECW. You could see Joey Styles standing in front of that.
Oh yeah. And you could see Paul E from these like segments and like guys he worked with a lot, where he got the genesis of ECW down the road. Like, you know, obviously Funk is his top guy. You know, that backdrop is the backdrop to all the promos. Like, he definitely was sort of, you know, it's cool to see that he was always paying attention and taking little tips from everything.
And I would say, if you're looking at the people who are backstage, Paul E is the person most modern in thought.
Yeah,
you know, he's the guy that brings grunge into wrestling, kind of that kind of stuff. And if I was a wrestler, that's who I'd be looking at. The guy that's looking towards the future, not the dudes who are living in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Midnight's in New Zealand Militia. I thought it was a decent match. I've now dubbed Jack of Victory the gimmick god.
He really is, man. No one's ever had more gimmicks than him.
That dude will be like, you could tell him, you know, we need Diarrhea Man out there. And he'll be like, all right, just give me the brown shorts. I'll go out there and take care of it, boss.
Give me a minute and I'll figure out how to work that. Give me a second. Come out and just syrup dripping.
I mean, this sounds like this is a great Flair promo, of course. We're talking about pay-per-view. We're talking about Baltimore. We're talking about... Let me tell you something. The bottom line is... it's all the same. Only the names have changed.
Literally. It's insane, man. Well, you know, that fucking shit was popular back then. You know what I mean? That song right there. So
yeah.
Wow.
But we get the Flying Brian debut is good. Like this cycle, we didn't get that many debuts. We got like Flying Brian, we got Psycho Sid.
Whoa.
We get Scott Hall at some point here, which is
I was about to put it over, man. That match he had with Muta though, and I know it's Muta. Every time I say a great match happened on TV, it's Muta. Scott Hall held his fucking own here, though, and it wasn't a job match.
It was the main event. It was a TV main event, but yeah, okay. Anything else in this episode, like at all worthy of talking about? 7:59. PS returns. Yeah, we'll take that. There's a Danger Zone with Flair.
Yep.
Heyman's wearing his Batman shirt because it was Batmania at that point.
Yep.
Talking about Flair's daddy. I just wrote down a lot of nada.
Yeah.
Like it or don't like it. We get a like it or don't like it. Got to plus up the classics.
Yeah, so
Uh,
this rule.
but yeah, so the main event, the thing with Scott Hall and Muta is so weird though, because like Scott Hall, we got Scott Gator Hall intro videos, not this cycle at all. Last cycle. So it's like
Yeah.
weird. Like we took another month off before we actually brought in Scott Gator Hall. And then for him to go out in his first match and lose is just weird. It is. It's a good match. It's Muta. I mean, he missed some. He chokes some. But for a former tag team champion to come in and lose in his first match while Tommy Wildfire Rich is out Lou Theszing people for fucking pins, it's just such questionable logic of, again, last cycle you guys were hyping me up for this guy, and then you wait an extra month and then
You
have
know
him
what it
lose.
was? And this, and I'll make it a little modern here. You know what exactly the issue here was? The booking committee guys were looking at Tommy Rich as the old guard star, because a lot of people don't understand that he really truly, when he said in his promo, like, I was one of the top stars when TBS started going national, he's right. And he won the world championship because he got so over in Georgia Championship. So they're doing the thing, and I will be fair here and give old TK, our favorite in the modern era, a little bit of a rib here, where I say this is the shit that he likes to do as well, in my opinion, where he puts the focus on fucking guys where I'm like, dude, I mean, prime example is what he's done with Jericho. It's like, okay, I get it. He was good like 10 years ago, man, at 5 at most. We're getting generous with that too, to be fair. Let's move on to something better. You know, it's like Scott Hall is right in front of you. He's young. He's not beaten down. He doesn't have substance abuse issues to the level that we would see later. He's motivated. Fuck, he looks better. Let's just
He looks great.
Fuck, are you kidding?
Yeah,
Scott Hall sucked. It's weird, man.
And yeah, and I'm not saying I said, oh, you throw Tommy Wildfire Rich into this situation, but we spent this TV time, pumping up the Gator. We went out to Florida swamps and poked gators with sticks.
I'm jealous. I
You
still
did all
haven't
this.
seen one.
You did all this, and he loses in his first match. It's so fucking weird.
It's WCW.
But it was a good match. It was definitely, I mean, probably for the TV matches we watched this cycle, the best one, maybe.
Oh yeah, I think
it has Muta, so maybe. Like I said, it's Muta almost makes it an automatic, and there's like no memorable tag matches from this TV cycle.
Which is
like you said, it's just Steiner's fucking fools up.
Oh, that's the highlight. Yeah, I sent you that message. I was like, we are finally at the dawn of the age of fucking Steiner murder job matches. I love it. It's only going to get crazier from here.
We don't get much Road Warriors on our TV this cycle, even with all these tag teams in here.
Another one where I think they were in All Japan. I think they were on that tour.
Yeah, and that's cool because I know those guys were over there a lot. If it's just weird, all of a sudden I'm like, no, we're just bringing you guys in for War Games.
Yeah.
Come on in. You guys hate these people so much, you left the country for a month.
Yeah. You know what, though? They should have done that. But I wanted to say this before we get into the pay-per-view, because they put over the Great American Bash Tour shows, right? And they didn't tape them. I don't think. God, if they did, please, the universe, give me some of these. Because when I'm looking through these results, it's a whole lot of hot fucking trash. So, first off, the first stop was in Landover, Maryland. Solid. Your main event, which ends up being the main event for, let's look at this here, literally the first week of shows. Lex Luger defending the U.S. title, beating Ricky Steamboat. Yes, the entire loop going into the pay-per-view was Ricky Steamboat, the babyface, losing the match against Luger that you were going to pay for, or supposed to pay for. Bizarre. Sting won the first weird 2-ring double battle royal. Immediately has a little schmoz with Terry Funk. So they're building him and Funk. Even though, again, it's him and Muta for the paper, it's just bizarre. So don't think that in the house shows, because I think about this sometimes, like, well, maybe on the house shows they were making sense. No, they were actually dumber on the fucking house shows.
So Sting won, but he wasn't in the Battle Royal on the pay-per-view, right?
Exactly. But you know what's
So
funny?
he's like, I just did it for the love of the game, guys.
Here's
I don't need my spot in the pay per view.
here's what we figure out. So in Philadelphia, he and Rick Steiner co-win the Battle Royal. So they already started the co-win. Sting's winning 1,000,000 of these. But here's what I figured out. Like, they said that was like, you won a crown and you come into the big one. That's bullshit, okay? Literally, Sting won every Battle Royal the first week of these shows I'm scrolling through. The only one he didn't win was in Charlotte. He defeated Terry Funk by DQ. Oh, they didn't even have him there. No, they did. Rick Steiner won that one, and he last eliminated Norman. So that was the level of the Battle Royals. Yeah, no, he literally won like almost all of them. So that's bullshit. That immediately this fucking opener double ring $50,000 Triple Crown Battle Royal double Supreme mega match that we have opening this show is just the biggest work of all time.
It is so weird to me. They did a house show circuit. I'm looking at the Marietta, Georgia right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, like one match is like over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is like, just matches are 2 minutes. It's so weird to think you paid to go to a show and it's over in like an hour, it appears. I find it wild that they fucking do this touring show and set up 2 rings in every city. What is this?
Fuck.
Like, that is some yayo decision making.
Oh, yeah. Hey, my brother. I hate to disparage the dead, but let's be real. Sounds like Kevin Sullivan move.
Hey, you know what? We're a company that's struggling a little bit. What can we do? What if we reduce the amount of seats by adding a second ring?
Smart.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah.
Let's give him Gator Scott Hall versus Dan Spivey or whatever. You know what I mean? There's also those little matches sprinkled in there.
Yeah, and okay, that's cool that you actually brought that up because you said Lex defeats Steamboat kind of across the site,
Yeah.
And I find it just such a weird fight they're having. Ricky Steamboat's like, no, he is asking for no disqualification to exist in the match, correct?
Yeah.
Even though in his history we basically never seen him cheat until the end of this match. And so he's like, hey, Lex, I want to give you an out of hitting me with a chair and it won't even fucking matter. Like, I feel like Lex Luger is some kind of a secret genius and just Bugs Bunny'd him into like agreeing.
It's fucking terrible.
It's so weird. And so when we get to the show, it gets even worse. But just this whole fight, I'm like, why wouldn't Lex want no DQ?
Oh.
Because of his honor? I don't get this. Or unless he's afraid of being attacked by a dragon.
I mean, he did have a Komodo dragon, and that was pretty dope.
In a studded leather vest. Thank you very much.
Yes, the vest was very important to mention as well. Yeah, we might as well start it off here with the double ring clusterfuck battle royal. I love the participants. I did somehow get everyone, I believe. The Varsity Club, Wild Bill Irwin, Ron Simmons, Flying Brian, Scott Hall, Gator, Ranger Ross, who's the only one that wears the crown to the ring. I think that's really bad mojo. Spoilers, he does not win this whole thing. Eddie Gilbert. So we've had all this promo work and everything for him and Muta, and he's in the fucking opener worthless battle royal. The Steiners, Dr. Death, Terry Gordy, and the Skyscrapers. Like, on paper, this should be great. It's not that great. I'll be honest, guys. It's kind of a mess. At one point, the technical difficulties just fuck up like the whole thing. We don't even get the actual like Teddy officially being like, okay, these two guys aren't going to fight each other. Because spoiler, the Skyscrapers just win it together. Which I was like, this is fucking horrible. I would have been so pissed if I would have paid a ticket for this.
Well, it's just weird. This first match with, I don't know, 20 wrestlers in it, somewhere close to that number, let's say, goes 10 minutes and 20 seconds. The very next match, which Flying Brian defeats Bill Irwin, is 10 minutes and 18 seconds. So that one-on-one match is 2 seconds less than like 20 people being eliminated from 2 rings in a battle royal.
Yeah.
The battle royal is so oddly set up of you've got to throw them from the first ring into the second ring. So basically, you only have 1/4 of the ring you can focus on from that first ring to throw somebody into the second ring. From the second ring, throw them wherever the fuck you want, basically.
Yeah.
At the end of the first ring, we get Spivey versus Pillman. Not Spivey, but Sid, right? Sid versus Pillman in the first ring to finish it.
Yes. It was Sid versus Pillman.
Do you recall how Sid eliminates him? Because I don't remember him throwing him into the second ring.
I don't either. And it's over. And then I swear to God, Pillman never even got to be in the second ring, right? Like, did he just?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did Pillman get eliminated? Because
I don't know.
Sid should have thrown him into the second ring according to the rules, and I don't believe he ever makes a second ring appearance. He might still be under that ring to this day, ready to win. So yeah, it was just this really weird, this really odd setup. And I don't know how they all went in a row, but yeah, I got thrown into the second ring to then throw them out, and then at the end, the person from each ring, they would wrestle each other with the deal. And then the skyscrapers were like, no, we're cool. We'll split the money. Thanks.
Well, Teddy ran into the ring and went, hold up, player.
You ain't getting this.
Nah, we gonna split the money because unity means we're in it together. And they ran out of there, buddy. And then he had a great promo in the back. And I said, he's got the check and the crown, playa. He's like, bring them all on. The skyscrapers are going to beat them all. So we're fucking shaking in our boots, Teddy.
Gordon Soley tells Teddy, cool move.
Yeah.
I don't know. When Gordon said cool move, I just laugh my ass off.
Oh, I think that Gordon was 2 sheets to the wind here, buddy.
The one thing that was interesting with this match, too, because you mentioned something about people pulling double duty. And it's crazy. Flying Brian is in such good shape. We don't know what happened to him. But he was in one of the last 2 people in that first ring, and then comes out and wrestles the second match.
Yeah.
So, which is as long as the first match as a whole.
And it's against Wild Bill, who also was in the fucking Battle Royal.
Yeah. But he didn't last till the end.
No.
But it's Flying Brian, like, they know this dude's kind of got it. He's got the stamina to be able to stay in the ring. He's kind of that next young generation. So I think that's a really good sign for us. In that first match, Flying Brian does a really awesome, jump off the second turnbuckle across the ring. So there were some cool, innovative uses of the empty ring. So for a new concept here, it'd be pretty cool. I don't know how creative they got on the house circuit with this. Probably not very. Right. But here, at least, they did some pretty cool things. So
yeah. They knew they were on pay-per-view, It didn't really matter. It's like, fuck, you got to make something out of this, And I thought that the match with old Bill was okay. It was what it needed to be, which was an avenue for Brian Pillman to get over. And he did. And his crossbody made Steamboat look like a fucking goof, because I thought that Brian Pillman was way better looking, way better abled than fucking Steamboat.
He did it from the other ring.
Yeah.
Like, it looks so cool when he did it from the other ring. Man. And we just kind of gave Flying Brian his props for, playing the ring. But the skyscrapers were the next match. So they're the 2 guys that, won the Battle Royal, 2 matches ago. And now they're back out here to go against the Dynamic Dudes. And every time I see the Dynamic Dudes, they're just the Buscemi meme of, how are you doing, fellow high school kids?
Oh, 100%.
They just and this is the show where I said, I forgot. They took me over the railing and were throwing Frisbees to me at ringside. I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
I blacked that out from my childhood. But that kid looks just like me from my childhood, so it's kind of.
Oh yeah, dude, exactly. Like, that's so fucking sick, though. Imagine, like, that would have been okay. I wouldn't have liked them still, but it would have been a little more.
But that kid looked so unhappy, though. Like, he wasn't smiling. He wasn't like excited. He was like scowling. He was like that Ms. girl. He had like this weird look on his face in a Ghostbusters shirt. Hope you're doing good out there, buddy.
Sid does a great job of killing the dudes here, and we always appreciate anyone that kills a dude. Spivey as well. It makes a lot of sense knowing now that he fucking was in All Japan, because he was bringing the heat here. It felt like he had an actual snap on everything. He was he knew that he's not getting paid by the hour, And dude, that double power bomb is a pretty dope. I mean, for 89 too. Holy shit.
I wrote down that Danny almost killed Johnny with a power bomb.
Yeah.
They're such a force. Like, you want to see those
man.
guys against get me them against the Road Warriors, and it's just
Yes.
yeah. Like, when you see the dynamic dude standing next to them, it's like, yeah, I don't think the frisbee skateboard guys are winning this one. And Jason Hervey says hi. Jason Hervey, star of the Wonder Years, he played Kevin Arnold's older brother. He's like at ringside, and I don't mean at ringside behind the rails. I mean on the mat outside the ring, kind of walking around at multiple points during the show. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I don't know what the situation was there. I don't know how officially the situation started, but yeah, he had some sort of in with WCW, and I don't know what it was with TBS.
Maybe? I remembered him there with for that one competition where they were doing judging. I know he was on some kind of judging with Missy and somebody else, and they had to judge something at some point. I don't know if we've watched it already, if it comes in the future, but yeah, he's just he's in front of the rail like he's a security guy, like he's a cameraman.
Yeah,
just sitting in front of the railing. The one thing that also is cute is the fact that they're so excited that they're going to have a cameraman in the ring for the War Games.
Oh yeah, they're like, we're going to have a cameraman in there.
They act like it's a technological breakthrough, but in reality, it's just a dude with a camera standing between two turnbuckles, just pivoting either way. But they're like, guys, we fucking nailed it. What if we have a guy inside the cage? He literally can't get hurt because our guys don't never go to the top rope. Wait, we'll get to the War Games because that cage. We'll get to it.
My God.
In the meantime, we're getting Gordon solely interviews with Paulie and Cornette. Let's strip these two guys who I have no desire to see naked. Let's have a match where they're both stripping clothes off each other. How did I end up in this hell?
You know what, though? It actually ended up being decent because they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, you know what, though? I would have rather a paddle their asses with a tennis racket match, like something like. I don't need these two gentlemen to have less clothes on.
I mean, especially when on like either the TV before or the TV, second to the last, there was a moment where during the match with the Steiners, they literally just like panned to Missy just shaking her boobs. Remember that? Like for no reason. The catalyst was Rick Steiner looking at, spoilers, woman in disguise, his girlfriend in the crowd. And
Robin Green.
Do you remember? He literally like feigns like, show me your boobs. He literally like has this weird like, shake your boobs at me. And Missy just shakes her boobs at him and he's like laughing. And I'm like, whoa, I am so sorry Eddie Gilbert had to deal with this level of like unawareness.
It's
really like,
it's so weird, man. It's just like that whole vibe is just like, it's like the thing we don't talk about at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
It's your aunt and uncle who still live together, but not really married, kind of like it's just this weird relationship going on. But it was an entertaining match, in spite of seeing these two gentlemen take off clothes. I never need to see Paul Heyman in his underwear ever again.
No, that was disgusting.
Okay, and serious question.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait. So in this match, Paul E tries to throw salt, powder, something in Cornette's face. Cornette kicks it in his face. We see it coming the whole way, right? He pins him. Do they own a broom? Really? This powder is in the corner of the ring for the rest of the fucking show.
Forever.
When the Steiners and Varsity Club come out, it looks like Eddie Gilbert's stash. It's just spread across the corner of the ring. How do you leave that out there like that? It feels like a dangerous thing, even like if it literally is powder for people to slip. It's so fucking weird. Leave it in the corner of the ring. Like, not my job. Nobody's job description says sweep ring.
In hindsight, I do recall, and maybe I just made this up, it seems like people avoid that spot too. And I mean, I guess maybe the idea is we got two rings. Fuck it. I mean, it is WCW. Let's be fair. I could absolutely see them thinking that way.
And I guess that's the point, but they must have been wrestling in this ring because I swear I noticed it.
Yeah.
Because it's so it's just weird, man. So I say, do we have a broom? Can we get a broom? Yeah, Jason Hervey just chilling at ringside. Uh, there's a fun spot where uh, Kevin Sullivan tries to do a sunset flip, and like
Yes.
Rick's just like headbutting his nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that. I watched it a second time. That's where I caught the headbutt to the nuts. He headbutts him in the nuts like 6 times shortly before the pin. So that made me laugh my ass off. And again, just another weird pin situation, which we'll get to later in the show as well.
Yeah, very weird.
But pin weirdness is like so high on the usage rate here. It's wild.
It's like, I don't know if it's nobody wants to do a job, or the thing is like, I'll do a job, but I need it to be so fucked up that I somehow look better for it. And it's like, no. No.
Yeah, it's this thing where people live the gimmick and they're like, no, this is who I am as a person. Where now we see, people willingly putting over others because they understand it's good for the story, for the business. Here, yeah, everything's just a weird fucking pin.
Everything. Yeah, it took a long time to get out of that. In fact, I don't think WCW ever really got fully out of that thinking.
It's so, yeah. But I think we get to it in the next match. We'll definitely get it to the next match. We get the Eddie Sting interview. Eddie's out there telling Sting, "I got your back, bro. I got your back." And the whole time it's like he does not have his back, and nothing bad happens. But this is how distrustful wrestling has made me. When somebody comes out in full support of you, I'm like, nah, man, they're stabbing you in the fucking back, bro. You're about to get stung, Sting.
I did mention Sting just straight up looks blazed as shit here. They like zoom in and his eyes are redder than, as my dad used to say, a little southern phrase, redder than a dog's dick. Holy fuck, buddy. He was... I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was tired, but man. And I don't know either if it was like the face paint color really like did not do favors with the bloodshot eyes. But man, he looked fucking high as shit.
I am definitely interested in the differences of like the mask technologies because like the Sting and Road Warriors, like their shit's like after a 5-minute match, it's always like peeling and all that. And it's funny how that shit maybe gets in your eyes or whatever. But Sting is a man of many moods. Yeah,
Yes,
like I said, we've seen him subdue to the cycle. We've seen him get revved up. Like he's going through a lot because his friend Lex. He's just a lot of confusion for him.
He needed to smoke real quick.
But Muta Sting, I mean, it's a great match. You're going back and forth, two guys athletic and go with each other.
Yeah.
We of course get our shenanigans. Nick Patrick gets misted. The distance that Muta gets on his moonsault.
Oh man.
Oof.
Yeah, he's got springs in those legs.
He went for like the one corner, and I think his feet might have touched salt. That's how far he was able to jump there. 2 count resuscitations. At the end, Sting has Muta back. Sting's shoulders are up. So I don't get what the deal is. He's like on his head. Yeah. Muta kind of gets his shoulder up at 3. And 87-time ref of the year, Tommy Young somehow misses it. The thing with this is just, if we're living in a kayfabe world, of this is real, your referees need better training. Because the amount of times they cannot make a fucking 3 count on a pin or know whose shoulder's down is startling. So yeah, if we're living in a world where this is real, your referees are incompetent. And you just lost Teddy Long, who may have been like your second best one. So it's just really just over and over. And like you said, it's just nobody can really lose. We can't Muta lose. We can't have Sting lose. Nobody can ever lose unless it's some kind of weird shenanigans with it. But, I mean, Muta's shoulders up. So we give Sting the win now, I guess, maybe. Muta steals the belt. And at the end, surprise, surprise, the U.S. title's held up. You may recall this from previous episodes, like the World Tag Team titles are held up.
Yeah. Okay, I was wondering what the fuck they did with this, because I was like, there's no way that's just gonna be the finish. Like, holy fuck. And again, that's like, why is that WCW's go-to? No one wants to do a job. We're not gonna make them do a job, so let's just fucking put the belt up. Holy shit, man. That's exactly what put them in the position to have to sell to Turner, by the way, was the no finish bullshit. I don't get it. And we get another one. We get literally right after that another bullshit finish. Luger and Steamboat was good for the U.S. title. It was a good match, and I like this. I finally sort of figured out Luger as a heel. It's very simple. He's just Michael Myers. He's just like the Terminator 1 guy, where you beat him the fuck down, and he just pops back up. I don't know if it was intentional. I think Luger just didn't understand psychology. So he just no-sold everything. But it works when you're heel, at least. When you're a babyface, it's like, good Lord, sell. Well, Luger figured it out here, and Steamboat's selling like he's getting killed by like 100 guys. You know, Steamboat's great, but very clearly this is sort of the end of the road for Steamboat and WCW at this point. Because they're not protecting him at fucking all.
Okay, I have a serious question.
Yeah.
Do any other wrestlers have families?
Oh, no, actually. Bonnie and the baby are the only people that a wrestler has ever associated with.
Okay, Bonnie and Dick Blood are the only family in wrestling. Yeah. Okay, got it. Because it's I'm like, man, Lex Luger's got to go in 2.5 here. What the heck? How you can't put my man Lex at such a disadvantage. Yeah. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is doing so much in this entrance. First, we get Bonnie and Dick Blood coming out. Then we get Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, carrying a Komodo dragon with a studded leather vest. He is standing on top of a surfboard that is being carried by, which is being carried by 6 to 8 gentlemen. So Ricky is on a surfboard holding a dragon, which he does not look comfortable handling, trying to maintain his balance as these 6 to 8 gentlemen are carrying him to the ring after his wife and kid just kind of went and sat down. Watch the entrance. He is doing so much in this entrance. He is like a 7-year-old who gets 1,000 wishes and they ask, what do you want to do?
I want to hold a Komodo dragon and be on a surfboard and guys are the water.
Fucking mad. And then we have the fight about the DQ, no DQ. And this is where I'm just like, Lex is like, yeah, he's just pulling that Bugs Bunny trick of saying the opposite. And no, there has to be disqualification now. It's so weird. I said the match did not have enough atomic drops.
Oh my God, no. Not enough atomic drops. Not enough Luger taking a bump and popping right back up to take 9 other bumps. There's not enough of that. Not enough head chops, which, I mean, God, I know it's 89, but like every time Ricky goes to the top, I'm like, ooh, something neat. And he just fucking does a head chop. And I'm like, holy shit, man, this isn't a Tatanka match, all right? Like, that's who I remember doing the head.
What, do you think you can hire Lou Thez pressing people for pins, Mr. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? Do you think you have
that's what it is. Ricky needs to just sit down with old Wildfire and learn how to work, brother. You know what I mean? God, Ricky Steamboat, what do you know?
Just learn those 2 new moves, bro. Just 2 new moves. That's all we need from you.
Hey, Ricky. Here's how I do that Luthez. You need about 68 cold ones first.
It's it's a good match while it goes, and then a disqualification at the end. Like Lex brings in the chair. It's like,
God.
I'm just going to trust that Lex outsmarted everybody here and got what he wanted. There is a great Samoan SWAT team Freebirds promo.
This is
and not that it's necessarily great, but it's great to just focus on Fatu.
Yes.
If you just focus on Fatu the whole time, it is like the best segment because he is just having the time of his life, fucking around with his buddy, trying to eat his head, trying to eat his hand, like licking his shoulder, like he's just doing everything weird in this promo while Michael Hayes is back there yapping.
It just rules so hard. And the birds in the background just talking all the shit you've ever heard talked ever. Like, they are so confident. And then when you get to the match, Michael Hayes with the classic, I gotta go in there? No. Really? Like, this whole time, Michael, you knew that it was 5-on-5. And he's just like, we got 4 guys in there. They're good. And Paulie looking up at him like, yeah, you gotta go in there. It's not gonna be me. I already wrestled and got naked out here.
I love the Freebirds like team sunglasses
Love it.
with like those Oakleys or whatever from the '80s. Wonderful. Then we followed up with a Midnight's
Oh,
promo. Doctor Death like flies in,
literally.
and
Oh
then
man.
the Road Warriors come out, and Doctor Death says, "You're two tough cookies. So am I."
Yeah.
And I'm like, is there anything less threatening than being called a tough cookie?
I don't understand Dr. Death's promos ever because he says shit that a grandmother would say to you when she was
He's bird
mildly
hunting.
infuriated. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's like just Doctor Death he needs a mouthpiece. He does not need a mic. Like I'd rather
Correct.
I'd rather hear Cornette speak for him. I think than hear Doctor Death go because Doctor Death. I only want him with a mic if Dan Spivey's next to him.
Yeah.
Because those two together is magic.
That
But
was
once you
great.
get once you next Spivey out of that Doctor Death like interview loop, it's just Doctor Death, and it's not that good.
Yeah. What about the last line Hawk says, which I was like, good Lord. You can tell he's like, what am I going to say here? He's sitting there for the longest time. Animals just screaming generic shit. Tell him, Hawk. And Hawk's whole thing, he's like, it took 5 of you to put me out. And then he's like, all right, we're going for family members, boys. What? You're in a double cage. First off,
Did anybody check on Precious?
yeah, no one else is in there. And he's like, we're going to kill your baby. Like, hold on. What are you talking about, Hawk? I love that. I love that he's just.
I love after an animal's like, okay, Hawk. Okay, I really think you need to turn it down like 40%. You're doing a little too much out there. I think this might become state's evidence at some point.
Yeah, brother, come on. And then we have
The
war games.
Yeah, the war games. Why is the ceiling so low?
I have no idea, man. And immediately you can tell it's like someone's gonna die, and they do. Pillman does like 3 years later.
Terry Gordy can like press his palm on the top of the cage. Like it is so ridiculous how it is like a 7-foot cage.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Like it's fucking so.
It's
Like, Nash
crazy.
would not be able to stand up all the way in this cage.
Terry Gordy's hair, I think, is touching it at some point.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. The Road Warriors entrance is badass. They come in on their motorcycles, smoke loud. Everything's so cool. So the Road Warriors looking badass like always. Yeah, the cage height, I just kind of equated to like being John Malkovich, which is like the 7.5 floor. And that's what kind of people living in war games is like living in that half floor from being John Malkovich.
Fucking nuts. Gordy gets fucking pressed into the fucking ceiling by goddamn Dr. Death at some point. Fucking amazing.
There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
It's so great. Yeah, so it's fun. You get right. We get the bad guys get the advantage, so they're always up one person.
Yeah.
Nothing can happen until everybody's in the ring. So no pins, no submissions. You can murder somebody, and it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter until everybody gets in there. The wonderful, the cameraman inside the ring.
Yeah. Whoa.
Really bringing it.
Insane. I like Michael Hayes on the outside more than even inside because there's two golden moments. The one that I told you already, but then there's another one where right before Fatu comes in, they go to the outside and all Hayes is doing is he goes, "You gotta kill. And then Fatu goes in and I think just gets beat up. So
You misunderstood my accent.
Yeah, he didn't get it. Hey, write something down in his language. Fucking awesome. Stan Lane goes in there throwing kicks. I mean, it's fucking amazing. This is awesome. It's just awesome. The only thing is the violence level never really turned up for me. I was like, this is a fun multi-man, but like, there's no blood.
I was gonna say, did anybody even bleed?
No.
No.
And we'll get into later, like, I guess why they held off on that, which is still stupid to me. War games, especially in 89, I mean, the whole gimmick for forever for that thing was you fucking throw 10 guys in there and they bleed to death and there's a fucking definitive winner. It didn't really do that for me, although Hawk did just choke fucking Jimmy Garvin to death, which was cool looking, but
That was great. Okay. To end this match, the match can end in pin or disqualification, right?
no, it has to be
Had to be submission?
yeah, it's submit or surrender. That's the
Okay.
whole thing.
Okay.
Which I don't know
Okay.
what that means.
That makes a bit more sense to me because it was weird to me that once everybody's in the ring, the referee isn't.
Yes.
It was weird to me. The referee has to get his ass in the ring, find the person who's being choked out or whatever. And what if it's two people at one time?
Yeah.
And two, it was very weird at the end to see the referee have to enter the ring while Hawk is doing this like neck breaker choke thing on Garvin, and I'm like, that should just be a finisher because it looked fucking. I don't understand what happened because he should really be hurt. That looked like a fucking hurt.
He probably was really hurt.
I get why you gave up, Jimmy. Yes, I called it the neck breaker, and then at the end they trap Animal in the ring and beat the crap out of him.
Fucking awesome. There you go.
I know, but and this is the South, so we don't know how to raise the cage again.
Oh my god, I know. Then they gotta deassemble, and then we get like the 50-minute fucking Flair Funk. Like, all right, here we are with the Flair Funk thing again, which was fine because I love Flair Funk, but it's like, man, and that's the only thing about all those kind of matches. Like any like thing that requires a cage being set up, especially this time period, dude, you're dedicating half your show to that cage match because it takes fucking forever for them to get that thing built and unbuilt. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of lukewarm on the War Games. I like what they wanted to do. I would have liked more. For one, it should have been the main event, in my opinion. If you're gonna have a War Games on a show, I think it should be the main event. But we did have Flair and Funk, and it was fucking fantastic.
And Flair's return is the biggest story.
Yeah, it's the world title.
But like, hey, we got the main event is the last match. We're making progress.
Fuck. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah. For the War Games, it was definitely it was a 2-on-1 beatdown, a 3-on-2 beatdown, but nothing egregious. And I guess at this point, we've seen so much that we just expect more. But even back then, it seems pretty mild. No blood is crazy.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird. But whatever. We move on to the big one here. Flair, Funk. I almost said Steamboat because I've been so used to saying Flair Steamboat. No, this is very different. This is a fucking fight. These guys just, went out there and did the old school deal. All right, Terry, let's just beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. Double juice. So they held on to the blood for this one. Fucking double juice. Both guys bleeding everywhere. Yeah, this was fun shit. And I think also a really good way to get them where they needed to go, which was obviously JTEX Corporation. So
the Ric Flair has women again.
Yes.
So after seeing Home Alone last week or whatever, we finally his ladies are back. So very happy for him. The match is interesting because it feels a lot different than the other Flair matches we've watched. And I don't know if that's changing it from the heel to face dynamic. But it definitely is a bloody, brutal match. They're kind of going over and over. Ends on a roll-up spin over.
Yes.
Because you can't have just a clean pin or anything like that. So it's kind of a weird thing at the end. And again, Gary Hart's at the ring with him for some reason because he hands Funk the branding iron. And okay, that's just kind of out of nowhere, but I'll accept it. The Muta shows up. Sting is always so delayed in his saving.
Yes.
Like Sting is the friend who's like, you know what? I'm going to give him 3 minutes to see if he can work his way out of this before I show up. I have faith. I have faith Rick can take these guys on. I'm gonna give him 3 minutes. Somebody. I'm gonna set a timer. I'll set a timer for 3 minutes and see if he's worked his way out of this or not.
God, that is really funny that he always does end up doing that. But you know what? He gets a pop every time. Maybe that's what it is. It's like an old school Dusty thing.
I think it's probably the fact that he's like, you know what? I saved everybody's ass. Let me see if somebody else is going to step up to the plate first.
And no one ever.
Anybody else? Hey, dudes, dynamic dudes. I thought you were faces. Are you going to go out there and save?
Yeah, where the fuck's
Ric Flair? Ric Flair, who we all love now.
Yeah, Tommy Rich might run out.
Yeah, he'll move fast pressing to death.
Eager to prove himself. Yeah, this was awesome though. This was a quintessential, this was a beautiful start to the feud. I do kind of like that they did just right away throw Muta and Sting in this thing because it should be about the next gen. That's something that I think a lot of wrestling today really misses on is incorporating those young guys more. You really need to do that. You need to have them at least buddying up with the top guys, or they're never going to be top guys, period. That's just how it is, Hangman's Hangman because he was fucking tagging with Kenny all those years, or all that year. And he's with the Bucks and yada yada. Like, that's just how this works. And so this was really impressive to see 89 WCW for the clusterfuck it is. They were very aware that, like, ooh, we gotta mix this thing up. And it is crazy to see them sort of make the biggest angle in their promotion a tag angle, not for the tag titles. It's kind of weird, but it works because I'm a big mark for JTEX Corp. This is like my favorite thing. Is Funk and Muta together, fucking Gary Hart, the mouthpiece of all of them. And it's just like, it's a horror movie. It's like fucking Terry Funk, and then you got Muta. No thanks. I'm not fighting them.
Terry Funk is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Muta is Onibaba.
I was just
it's like just get all these people together. Cactus Jack shows up at some point in the near future, right? Like, get all these little horror movie people aboard up with us.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they have a big old brawl. It's like that you think it's over and then it's not over. Yes. We don't get our 10-minute pay-per-view recap this episode. But I do remember what happened. No, we don't get that. But yeah, we just get this brawl all over the place, which is pretty fun.
Which is the antithesis of fucking Clash 5 when they did that clusterfuck with fucking Tenryu and like all the other dudes, and it was just a mess and no one gave a fuck. Speaking of a mess, we had this great pay-per-view, right? So naturally, next episode, we're going to come in firing on all cylinders, right? For Clash of the Champions, fucking 8 Fall Brawl. Let me just give you guys a little look at the card here.
Oh, God.
We start off strong. Simone SWAT team against the Road Warriors. That's the opener of the fucking TV show. And now we immediately get into some fun WCW greatness. The Cuban Assassin against the Z-Man. Singles match, Sid Vicious against Ranger Ross, barn burner. World Tag Title match, the Birds defending against the Steiners, so that might be the big move there. Flying Brian against Norman the Lunatic, holy shit, hanging from the rafters on that one.
Jesus,
Steve Williams.
You can't do it to Flying Brian.
Yeah, Steve Williams against who I believe at this time is Captain Mike Rotunda. Holy fuck on that. And you know what? Listen, the MVP of this episode, and I really have to actually say his name again. U.S. title match: Luger defends against Wildfire, Tommy Rich. And the main event, straight up tag match: Flair and Sting against the JTEX Corp of Dick Slater and the Great Muta. And I believe, to be fair, this is because I think this is when Funk broke his tailbone at some point. So they gave him, understandably some time out. Yeah, he breaks his tailbone in the middle of this. So they just had Flair hurt. They get him back. The fucking angle of Flair is just running on all cylinders. And then Funk got hurt. And we had to call the Dick Slater audible like every other territory in the 80s.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I was confused. I confused my dicks. I confused Dick Slater with Dick Murdoch. My bad.
No, it's better than that. Yeah, thank God. It's
because I was like Dick Murdoch with Gary Hart now, but Dick Slater, Dick Murdoch, all the same. Yeah, I can't tell between dicks.
Yeah, and
all dicks are the same to me.
This is the other one, and I don't know how I feel about this. This show doesn't happen till September 12th. There is no other Clash before then. The entire month of fucking August plus is just TVs. Just TVs. Literally, yeah, just TVs. There's not a Clash in August, which is, I don't know, man. There's going to be a whole lot of skimming there because that sounds like a hot turd. And you know what the weird one is, too? So that's on 9/12. And then fucking Halloween Havoc 1 is like literally already... Oh, it's the same scenario. It's not till October... Let's see here. Fucking... Oh, Halloween Havoc, October 28th. So it's like another long, almost 2 months after that. This was a really weird thing with WCW where it took them forever to understand. Listen, put the fucking clashes on all the months you don't have a pay-per-view. Who gives a fuck if you have 2 in a row? You got to do something, man, because fuck, I don't want to just watch a bunch of TV matches for a month straight as a fan.
It's rough because I'm trying to look ahead at the upcoming TV cards.
Yeah.
To see do we get anything that interests us? And
probably not.
Yeah, it's just these jobber matches over and over and over again.
Bullshit. Yeah, let me fucking just hit a random one here. 8:15.
Cruel Connection 1 and The Bounty Hunter versus Steiner Brothers.
Nice. Oh god, I picked the wrong one because this one actually sounds awesome. The State Patrol against the Ding Dongs. Flair and Funk. So this must have been worldwide. And then Luger and Tommy Rich. That must have been the first one of the Wildfire. That's got to be worldwide because it just says NWA TV taping. So who the fuck knows? Yeah. Oh, also speaking of nice little notable moments, we did get during one of the TVs the first mention of we're going to have a Friday primetime show. It's going to be called the Power Hour. And I don't know if you watched that as a kid, but I know a lot of people online that were from that time period, they mark the fuck out for Power Hour. So it must have been a big deal.
I mean, I'm looking at the first one episode here. We got 3 matches. I mean, the first match is the Cuban Assassin versus Greg Evans.
Dude, you can't get bigger than that.
How do you say no to that? But it does also have Tommy Rich versus Bill Irwin and the Great Muta versus Sting on the 15th.
That's fucking sick.
That's what you're telling me, at least. Yes, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll trust you. I'll check it out, even if it's Cornette. And it looks like with the next clash too, we get Cornette and JR on the commentary. So I'll take that over Bob.
Yeah, that was when they were finally like figuring out, okay, we need to change up the color, guys. And you know, for one, Bob's not ever wrestled in his life. He was always a commentator, and he had a color guy. I think he had Weaver. Big Atlantic star. I think Johnny Weaver was his like color guy for a long ass time and all that stuff. So anyway, fucking WCW, man, the most mixed bag in history. Like we just had this great American Bash, and fucking Fall Brawl looks like a turd in a quarter. So nice.
We will be getting some more ding dongs though. So I mean, I think August '89 is like peak ding dong season. So
yeah, you said most of their career is fucking August. Great.
It's like 23 matches this month or something. So yeah, it's like they really put in the work.
No major show, just the ding dongs and Wildfire.
Wildfire, I'm rich.
Hail, brother. All right, so yeah, that's all I fucking have. It was great. I am dreading the next episode because it looks like fucking shit, but it'll be fun. We'll shit on it. It'll be great.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if we get any from what we just read for the upcoming card. There was only one match there that had all new talent for us. It was I can't remember who it was. So it'll be interesting to see if we get new talents introduced at this point or not, because it feels like we've been getting less of them. We had Flying Brian, Scott Hall, and Sid this last cycle.
Yeah,
we'll see what we get going forward. I don't know. It just seems interesting.
Yeah, give us something. So you are on all the socials at the JIMDB. The show is Troubles Wrestling Pod on Instagram and Threads. It is Troubles Weekly on Blue Sky. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. I don't know if you have anything else to add there.
Yeah, we'll see you down the road.
See you down the road. It's going to be a rough road, but until next time, savor the good matches that you get because, man, you never know. You might get thrown a fucking Ranger Ross.